Hello guys, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, as the topic says, it's about how to make your bloodline or your family of birds, family of tipplers, family of rollers, family of racing homers. It's the same thing. So I was reading about that during the last 2 weeks since I received some nice English tipplers, the Harry Shannon, from a trusted guy who won with them the 2018 competition in the United States. And I was reading about how to make my bloodline or my family of tipplers. And I found a very nice article online from the Flying Tippler Club of North America, as you can see it. So this is the article, and today we will go through it because while reading it, I think it's worthy to share it with the others, people who are interested in pigeons. And again, I'm not the author of this article. As you can see, that's the author of the article. It's a very nice from him to share it. And this one was published in 2010. This is that's the link for the website. It's flyingftcna.com, Flying Tippler of North America, Flying Tippler Club of North America. And it has a very nice information in it. It goes step by step, gives definitions, then switching to the breeding techniques that will get you something really nice. We will go through this one, but to fully understand it, we will talk more about this figure. The article is available online, so with no further ado, let's do the math. So the figure or the chart assumes that we have a male, which is A, and a female, and when they mate, the first generation, which is known as F1, will have their genes from their father and mother, which is 50% from A and 50% from B. And this one, F1, if you take any hen and you put it back, you mate it back to the same father, to the male A, we have the F2 will have 75% of A and 25% of 2. And this is the math about it. So third generation, they get 50-50 from A and they get from B. Now second generation, they get 50% from A. This is the second generation. They get 50% from A and they get 50% from who? From F1. So 50% from F1. This is F1. We plug it here in this equation. We end up that the F2, the second generation of those babies, will have 3/4 of A, which is 75%, and 1/4 of B. And that's why it is like this. So for second generation, they have 75% from A. They have 25% from B. And this is obvious because we are using A in every time. For the third generation, it's going to be 87.5% from A, and it's going to be 12.5% from B. And this is the math. We have 50% from A for the F3. That's how we get F3. We get them directly from A and from this one. So 50% from A and 50% from F2. This is the A percentage, 50%, and this is the F2. We plug it in this equation, we do the math, we get this. that F3 has 7/8 of A and has 1/8 of B. And that's what we have here. F3 is very similar to the A because every time we're using the A. 87.5% is equivalent to this number if you do the math. 7/8. And 12.5% is 1/8. And finally, for the fourth generation, F4, we have 93.75% from A, which is very high, and 6.25% from B. So F4 is very similar to the basic foundation, the basic calc that we started with. And just a hint here, with these numbers, when you do the math on any similar chart, you should always end up with 1. 75% plus 25% is 100%, is 1. If you add these, you get 1. If you add these together, you get 100%. That's a hint for doing the math. Now, why am I talking about this one first? Because I was looking at the article, and the article talks about 3 different methods to make your bloodline or family of birds. So this is the breeding techniques in this article, and first one is called the first cousin program. The second one, these charts tells you the half brother sister program, and the last one in this article, it says skip generation program, and it gives definition for everyone when to use it. If we make a quick comparison here between this program, this is the half brother sister program, and the other one, which is the skip generation program, it's similar to the bull system, and it is very popular for racing homer guys. You have the same male being mated to 2 different females, the same cock bird, the same male being mated to 2 different females. So this is famous. And the thing that got my attention more is this program, the first cousin program, because it says here the objective of this program is to blend 2 pairs of excellent pigeons equally. And when I look at this chart, I said, okay, so how come after this complicated chart, the genes from these 2 pairs, they're supposed to be high quality pairs? It's not the same male, it's not the same female, 2 different females, 2 different males will get me babies with equal genes, because it says to blend 2 pairs of excellent pigeons equally. So I said, let me do the math just like the first one here, and let me see if the genes will pass from this pair and this pair to those babies in the second generation, F2. F1 will have different genes, not equally, but F2 and later on so on will have the same genes, equal from this one and this one and this one and this one. You will find them in the grandson and the granddaughter and the granddaughter and the grandson, although they came through different techniques. We will see. My first step to simplify this chart is to redo it with some colors and put some explanation on it. So this is my F1 that comes directly from these 2 different pairs, and that's my F1. It's a son 1, a daughter 1 from the first pair, son 2 and a daughter 2 from the second pair. So if we look, son 1 and daughter 1 will have their genes from their father and mother directly. So in theory, son 1 will have 50% of his genes from his father, 50% of his genes from his mother. The same thing for the females, 50% of those genes from the father, 50% of those genes from the mother. Same story is being repeated here. The son 2 from the second pair has his genes from C and D, his father and his mother. The daughter also 50% from the father, 50% from the mother. So the F1, the first generation, have different genes. But when we blend them here, we will see the genes for grandson 1, the genes for granddaughter 1, the genes for granddaughter 2, the genes for granddaughter son 2. We will be amazed by the fact after doing the math. F1 different genes, but F2 will be identical genes, although they came from two different pairs. Let's do the math. This is the math time. Grandson 1 is from this guy and from the daughter, which is here the same story. The grandson comes from the son and the daughter from the second pair. The daughter from the first pair is mated to the son from the second pair. That's what we have here. So grandson 1 has his genes from his direct father and his direct mother, which is son 1 and daughter 2. Grandson 1 has 50% of son 1 and 50% of daughter 2. We plug those into this equation. That's son 1 and that's daughter 2. And we end up for grandson 1 like this. He has genes from A and B and C and D. And it's the same story for his sister, because she comes from the same father and she comes from the same mother. So this is the gene combination for grandson 1 or daughter 1. Grandson 1 and granddaughter 1. Okay, this is the F2. Now let's go to granddaughter 2 and grandson 2. This is how they were mated, from son 2 and daughter 1. That's the genes for daughter 1 and that's the genes for son 2, and they will make these guys in second generation. So granddaughter 2, 50% from the father, 50% from the mother, and we end up with what? She has genes from A, B, C, and D. The quality pairs that were blended equally. You see, guys? The genes were blended equally. This is for what? This is for the second generation, F2. And guess what? These guys will have genes blended equally. Every next generation, F3, F4, because I did the math and I don't want to make it a boring video, they will have the same thing. They will have genes from A, B, C, D in equal amounts because I did the math. So this is the theory about this method. In practical life, sometimes when you put two pairs together, you don't get a male or you don't get a female from their offsprings. We have to consider that. Or even if you get males and females, before you use them, or at least for myself, before I use them, I have to fly them to see which one is doing the best. Because even if you have trusted and nice quality pairs, it's not guaranteed always will give you the quality babies. Train them, fly them, race with them, see how they perform, see their performance, and then pick. So during training, during flying, you might lose one, you might being eaten by a hawk or something. So it is better, in my opinion, instead of using two pairs only, to use multiple pairs at the same time. Write down the band numbers for first generation with respect to their parents. So in the second generation, when we blend them together, the second generation, we know exactly how they come, and we apply this method. I like this method the most because this one I believe it takes more time. Why? Because you have the same male, and this male is being mated to 2 or 3 different females. So during some breeding season, you will do this job here, another breeding season, you will do this job here, and you hope you get a cockbird or a son from this combination, and you hope you get multiple daughters from this. You have to work on it. If it doesn't happen during the first breeding season and the second breeding season, it might happen during the third and the fourth. But the theory is here. The article is available for everyone. And again, this is the theory. What about the color of the eyes? We're supposed to have equal amounts from everyone, equal amount of genes from everyone. What about the color of the eyes? If this one has a pearl eye, and this one has a red eye, and this one has a red eye, and this one has maybe pearl, something in between. Well, some genes don't follow this method. The color of the eyes, the color of the feather. Sometimes if you put a grizzle here, you get a lot of grizzle because this is something dominant. But the answer to those questions in this article, if you want to read it, it tells you the different techniques for breeding, which is here: cross breeding, line breeding, inbreeding, and the answer is here. Read the article and you will get all the answers in your mind about what if. Are you a phenotype breeder or are you a genotype breeder? That's very important. I didn't know the difference between those until I read this article. This is a very nice article. I think it was printed or it was uploaded to the website in 2010. Flying Tippler Club of North America. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And before the end, I'm telling you guys, I'm not the author of this article. Sonny Gill is the author of this article. Thank you so much. That's his email. If someone is interested in communicating with the author, we appreciate your effort. And thank you guys for your time. Have a nice breeding season.